to get it right this time. Go ahead.
You're introducing it.
I just said, do you want to? And you went, yeah.
No, I thought you said, do you want me to introduce it?
Off to a great start. Welcome to another episode of the Drinking Podcast. It is currently episode 12, I believe. What?
My word.
Yeah, we're doing good. We're in way into double digits now. It's
Yeah.
pretty impressive. We're still trying to keep hopes up, keep drinking, stuff like that, the normal. And we've got a bit of a conspiracy to talk about and a little bit more.
Yeah. Toby came around this afternoon.
Yeah, had a mate come over from 2 meters
broke
away.
Lockdown.
That's not breaking lockdown. It's
But it is breaking into lockdown in that it's not. I'm not saying it's illegal. It's just that lockdown has been there for so long that when somebody comes round,
It's weird.
we're breaking into.
I mean, I haven't seen anyone.
We're
in
breaking
9
into
weeks.
freedom.
I haven't seen anyone who's not
Freedom.
him, my mum, or the neighbours in 9 weeks.
So it was very good, wasn't
Yes, it was great.
Bit of footy, bit of swimming.
Yeah. And in the last couple of days, if you may or may not have told, I've had a haircut and a trim. You've also had a trim.
Yeah,
It's harder to tell.
I need to, sort the beard out.
I don't need to sort my beard. Mine's coming there. Mine's getting there, guys. Mine's getting there. So anyway, what have you got us to try out? I think it's something we've already had before.
It is. So I went back and got some whiskey from Aldi.
Some more. We've already drank all of it.
No, well, it's been 6 weeks, hasn't it? Well, it's been 6 weeks, and I've been to Aldi, and you have to queue up outside and keep your distance, and oh dear, it's got one of these things. Yeah, so and Aldi is funny because some people really respect the 2 metre distance, and other people just, when you're trying to select something, just come up and breathe all over you. That's what it is, and you think, oh, okay,
Jog on.
yeah.
Get out of my face.
Do a half hour.
Okay.
This is a well, it's exactly the same as the other one.
Yeah, we've had it before.
Yeah, it's all right.
I don't know what episode we had it. So just go check out all the
Seems
other
like a
episodes
lifetime ago, but it isn't a lifetime ago. It's probably about 8 weeks ago at the start of this lockdown.
Probably had it on episode 4 or 5.
Yeah,
would you
something
guess?
like that.
Alright, we'll start from a little shot of this then.
Okay, I'm not doing it all down.
To Corona.
Correct. Look, Corona.
To COVID-19. To
Corona.
freedom.
To lockdown.
To lockdown.
Ending.
Oh, shit on the bleeding thing, Jackie.
No, for God's sake.
I blame you for doing a little
I'll
bit.
tidy up the table.
You got a handkerchief.
Yeah, well, you have to, if you drip all over the table, you have to have it tidied up a bit. Anyway, there we go.
So anyway,
We can edit that out.
So anyway, we're going to start off with a little bit of a almost.
Well, it was there. So
Well, I'm sorry, he's a 4-year-old child.
it was there, so I just thought I'd do it. Clang. All right.
You were there, so I just thought I'd give.
Okay.
It's the same
I was
logic.
here, so you just thought you'd thump me.
Anyway, we're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay.
A Netflix show came out, I believe, on Wednesday. It's 4 or 5 parts long, about an hour each, and it took. And it just talks about. It shows really a little bit about him and shows all of the controversies surrounding
Just
him and the people involved and how he got his wealth, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So, were you familiar with Epstein before all the controversies?
not really, no.
He seemed to be a bit of a Donald Trump-esque figure.
Yeah. So he claims that he's dead, isn't he? So he claimed to be a billionaire, although that was never substantiated.
No, he looked nearly to be worth that, estimated.
But he obviously had contacts in very high places like Trump and Clinton and various... Prince Andrew. He had a lot of... He spent his life developing social circles.
Yep. So that they could help him, basically.
But also spent his life meeting up with younger people.
Yep. And I think that's what we're going to get onto. So it started off by the sounds of it in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s. There's no proper confirmation of the first case. That's an estimate, of course. But how it essentially started is he would get girls under the age of 18, around the 16 mark, but it did go down to about 13, to give him massages, and then after they'd given him the massage, he would essentially rape, molest.
Is this was what was in the Netflix video?
Yeah, and he would do a variety of things to them, and did different things to different people. But essentially, yes, rape and sexually abuse underage girls. And to do the thing is, my first issue was to do this. There was this lady. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Jaisalyn Maxwell.
She was the daughter of Robert Maxwell.
Yes. She seemed to be at first a bit like his right-hand man. So she would essentially recruit these girls, let's say, and go up to them, essentially be like, I've got $200, or however much it was. There's this guy who you can give a massage to, and if you do it, you get $200, no problem. And she would essentially recruit these younger girls to do this, which was, again, my first thing when I was watching the documentary, where I was like, people knew he was doing it and allowed it and aided him in doing it, which is, what do you think of that? I feel like that's horrifying in my opinion.
I don't know anything about. I think she was the daughter of Robert Maxwell.
Yes, she was. She was, yes.
So, and has she been prosecuted?
I don't think so at the moment, but I have no idea, to be honest. So it's a bit of a strange one, and when I first watched the documentary, there was this bit that shocked me, where there was this girl who was 16, 15, whatever, and she went there and she was actually molested by both of these Jeffery and Jaisalyn. I don't pronounce her name. And she was essentially said afterwards, if you tell your friends about this and bring your friends here, I'll give you an extra $200 for everyone you bring through. So even though she'd been molested and even though she'd been raped and this and that, she got 24 of her friends to do it. She told 24 of her friends about it to go and have the same stuff done to them. And she even said in the interview, it was kind of like, although I feel bad, it wasn't me that was doing the bad things. It really struck me as a moment of, I don't know, a bit confusion almost, because she was talking about how it almost scarred her for life, yet she was perfectly fine with letting it happen to her friend. And I know you had the whole thing of he was giving her money, he was her friend, he made her feel like that, but it's strange. I mean, what do you think on that? That's odd, isn't it?
It is odd, yeah. That's all I can say though, is it's odd.
I mean,
it seems bizarre.
Would you would never? I would never do that.
No, and I think it's this whole parental thing, isn't it? In that, if a child gets involved with somebody like that, you'd hope that parental pressure would be to steer them away from anything untoward. Whereas that clearly wasn't happening. No. It's like the Michael Jackson video we watched, where the parents were encouraging
the kids to go sleep in his house.
To go and sleep in Michael's house, because they were completely awestruck by his celebrity status and the fact that he was interested in their children. Yeah. And so they were kind of, oh yeah, they can go there. Yeah. Because they just idiotically thought that this is a billionaire lifestyle and my child can get involved in it. And all that was happening, really, as far as we are aware. Yeah,
it might not be true. Yeah. But yeah, and I think you could argue a similar-esque thing with the Jeffrey Epstein thing, where it was kind of like, this guy is a multi-millionaire. And to be fair, with some of the girls, there were these two sisters, and one of them, he was like, what's your dream job? And she was like, I want to be a teacher abroad and stuff like that. And he was like, come to a ranch in Mexico, we'll have a chat about it, and I'll see if I can get you teaching in Vietnam and stuff like that in the next few months and stuff like that. And of course she got molested, but you know, I understand why these girls were kind of like, again, starstruck isn't the word because he wasn't a celebrity, but kind of like, you can give me everything I've ever wanted. Like, again, with several of the girls, one of them wanted to be like a Victoria's Secret model, so she went round his because he was like, I've got the links in the right place. And it was like that with many of the cases. And I have to admit, if I was a person in their position and someone did come to me and it was like, I can make this all come true for you, I have to admit, you'd think most people would probably do the same. I mean, I know you could argue he's an old man, he's a bit weird, he's random, etc., etc., is doing this, but to play devil's advocate, this weird old man is giving you everything you've ever dreamed of, just like that. Just by doing a couple of things.
Yeah.
And I know it's wrong, the molestation and this and that, but he essentially promised them the world for that. And two wrongs don't make a right, I know, but I can understand why some people would be like, shit, yeah, I've got to do this. I've got to do this for my life. So anyway, as the documentary went on, more and more things were getting thrown under. So, like I said, with the Victoria's Secret model girl, she went round to this hotel room, which is very naive of her, I must say, where he was staying, and he basically sexually assaulted her. And she got out the house, or not house, hotel, drove straight to the police station, and filed a report. Never heard back. Again, girls were calling up the police, the FBI, about getting sexually assaulted by this man. Never hearing back.
Yeah, which is, strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like he. What do you think? Do you think he placed powerful people in high places as his friends?
Don't know.
Because you would hope that any sexual assault, which to be fair has been proven, if someone files a sexual assault, there's an investigation. There's an investigation, isn't there?
Independently and properly, without any interference from anybody going on. Yeah.
And essentially, in one of the first trials for it, he actually got away with it. He got away with 18 months in jail, which he only spent 6 days, 1 day of the week in. I think the other 6 days he was on work release or something like that. And yeah, the jury, and not jury, but the FBI and the police in different sections were almost I don't know, paid off maybe, or an equivalent of that. I'm not.
So what happened to him in the end then?
So in the end, so after all of this, he had enough people filing against him that was kind of checkmate. So he went to court, of course, and was basically said, you're going to get sentenced for a very, very long time in prison. So he essentially offered to pay off his entire earnings that he had in his bank account at the time, which was approximately $600 billion, $500 billion, $1 billion.
Yeah.
So $500 million thereabouts, maybe a little bit more. And he essentially said, I will pay the judge, I'll pay the people who have been convicted of this, I'll pay that. I'll lose all the money I have, so I'll be broke, I'll be homeless if I don't go to jail. Which immediately shows he knows he's guilty at that moment in time. What do you think of that then?
It's
him?
a very strange way to go about.
Yeah.
Because you're not talking. You're
not talking settlement.
A proper judicial system here.
Yeah.
So he's trying to pay off American judges.
Yeah. And the people who are trying to go up on.
Yeah. Okay. And obviously it wasn't accepted.
I mean, it wasn't that it wasn't accepted. It was they were considering it, in all fairness, but then the unthinkable happened, and one night he ended up dead, which I think is where we're going to go on to now, where I think he supposedly hung himself or strangled himself using his bedclothes while he was in prison. This was a prison that he was being held in with gang members, terrorists. So this was the bad of the bad people in the world. And yeah, he hung himself or something like that from his bed using his bedclothes. However, it came out the thing is, the the victims, so like the survivors, I think they get called to a lot as in the documentary. They were all kind of like, he's got the easy way out, you know, this, that, and the other, which you could argue fair enough. This guy could have got life in prison.
Yeah, yeah.
But it came out later when they were looking at the actual injuries he got and the circumstances, where it was kind of like, so this is a prison that holds terrorists, mass murderers, people of gangsters, people of that sort. Yeah. And the night that he hung himself or whatever, that happened to be the night where the police officer watching the cameras fell asleep. The cameras were down in that short period.
Yeah, okay.
And it's all kind of like, I'm not sure. And again, the injuries suffered around his neck. They had this doctor on who does autopsies and stuff like that. And he basically said there's this bone in the neck. I think he broke it in 3 places.
Yeah.
When he strangled himself. And he was basically sitting there being like, even if he was to wrap it around his neck, jump off that top bunk of the like bunk beds, and for him to hang himself, that is not enough force and trauma to break that bone in, I think, 3 places, he said, or something like that.
So he's saying it wasn't suicide?
Yes, so he is essentially saying it can't be suicide because that doesn't make sense. I mean, who do you think would want to shut him up? I guess a lot of people, but in particular, he had some friends in powerful places. So, for example, when the trials were going on, Clinton was like, I haven't spoken to him in 10 years. Trump was like, I barely know him that well. You know, I've had a couple of drinks with him here and there. You know, people like that were binning him off, essentially, being like, oh, well, I just know him from, you know, a picture a couple of years ago. Nothing more major than that. If he was to be murdered, what do you think about, who do you think, why do you think, like?
Who would want to murder him? I mean, it makes more sense for him to commit suicide, doesn't it? Which is obviously the cover.
Yeah.
Who would want to murder him? I mean, parents of children that have been abused?
Yep. I mean, there was...
politicians that he's involved with that don't want him around anymore? Don't know.
Because there was another conspiracy that the prisoners possibly killed him. That's a conspiracy in itself, which...
Because prisoners don't like paedophiles.
Nonsense, basically, yeah. And so that was a rumour in itself, and again, you got to take it with a pinch of salt. Maybe it did or did not happen, but you can understand why they'd want to cover that up as well. I think... What do you think about the Prince Andrew thing? Do you think maybe he could have something to do with that, to almost shut him up, possibly?
Honestly, no idea, matey.
Yeah. Because I think that's my problem. I think, like with the whole thing, he was offering up the $500 million. He was almost doing that. And I think people associated with him would kind of be like, if he's going down, who's he going to bring with him? Am I going to go with him? Because in the show, in the series, there's this island that he goes to, which he owns, which a lot of underage girls come to who he molests consciously, and a lot of people go to this island. There is no official, so like Clinton went there, but there's no one has come out and said he raped me on this island or anything like that. But famous people have gone to this island of his, and there's pictures of that, etc., etc. So
is it a bit like that island they go to in Scooby-Doo? Remember?
Yeah, to be fair, it is kind of like that. It's
when, you know,
shit goes
it's
down.
a haunted island.
Yeah.
But, you know, they go there, don't they? So what was that? What was the film called?
I don't know. Was that the one that was an actual film?
Yeah, the actual film.
I can't remember.
And they end up on this island, don't they?
Yeah. It's like a trip
and shit goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're going to finish it off on... He was most likely murdered, and he most likely did do everything that he has been accused of. Murder isn't right, it never is, as we've seen recently in the world, which we won't get onto, I don't think, today, with, you know, George Floyd. But I don't think we're going to get onto that today. But yeah, he was most likely murdered in prison.
Okay.
So anyway, we're going to go a little bit more light-hearted now. What did you think? So you and me have listened to KSI's new album. What did you think of it?
Which is the KSI album? Well,
So-
no, because
That's the one we were listening to a bit tonight, the one we listened to a few nights ago, and you rated
one-
out of 10.
the one that was very different between the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Thought it was excellent. Thought it was really good, and very musical.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah, for saying he's a YouTuber at first, essentially, he's done very well, hasn't he?
Mm.
He's got some very good features on there,
Yeah.
etc., etc.
Yeah.
You were really praising, is maybe the word to use, of, like you said, the different type of music that's on there, weren't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, because it goes from kind of like rap to pop to intermediate to it's just got some good tunes, and he seems to know what he's doing, and I thought it was good. It's getting late.
Do you think? No, but just quickly, that's his first ever solo album.
Is it?
Are you shocked by that?
Yeah.
He's very
He's very
at the
talented.
moment. It's currently number 2 in the charts.
I thought he was very talented, and thought it was very good. Cheers to. We're still in
Oh
lockdown.
bollocks! Shouldn't have been anything.
We're still in lockdown, and
And just finally, then,
had some red wine and some whiskey and stuff. And no, I'd just like to say, cheers.
Royal Britannia.
Yeah.
I fucked it, by the way. One final thing I want to talk about then, before we finish up, is the Premier League is set to return now, an official returning date, on June the 17th, despite the fact Aston Villa's manager's dad has just died of coronavirus.
Yeah, okay.
So what are your thoughts on this 17th of June?
I'm nowhere near as negative about it as you are.
Yep.
I think the Premier League needs to start at some point.
Yep.
I understand that there are footballers and managers and whatever that have got coronavirus.
Yep.
But I also think that if people have followed the rules and not gone out, stay at home.
Don't stay at home.
Don't stay at home.
If you can go to work, don't go to
Don't
work.
to work. If you can go to work, don't go to work.
If you can go to work, don't go to work.
Don't go to work.
And then we will or won't.
Use public transport.
Don't go to work.
Yes, but use public transport. Go on your bike. And if we can, and if we can go to work, something or other.
And then maybe eventually something or other.
Something or other. Yes.
So
Go to work. Don't go to work. And if you can go on your bike, go on your bike. But don't
go to work.
Don't
go to work.
Don't go to
Unlimited exercise.
work. No, don't go to work, but go to work.
So you think the Premier League returning on June the 17th, as long as it's handled well, like we've seen in the UFC and the Bundesliga,
Yeah, it's fine.
Is fine.
Yeah.
How do you think it will fit? Do you think Liverpool will continue their momentum and walk to the Prem? Do you think City will have a say? And
No.
what do you think about the?
I think Liverpool will finish off the deal.
Okay. And what do you think about the clubs in the relegation zone? Because it's been quite a long break, and for some teams, a break is their worst thing or their best thing.
Yeah. I don't know how the hell relegation is going to go. I think the top of the table
Will stay the same.
will stay the same. I think the relegation zone could change quite dramatically because playing in empty stadiums
Odd.
and trying to get yourself out of relegation when there's nobody listening and nobody watching is really difficult.
How do you think West Ham are going to do? Because we're massive West Ham fans. We would have gone seen Chelsea, West Ham. We had tickets for that.
I think West Ham will just stay out of relegation. I don't think West Ham are in a problem.
I think we're only out of the relegation zone by 1 point and goal difference, I believe.
Yeah.
So
I can't see us.
our squad is too strong. You basically think.
Yeah.
So you don't think So you think the break has almost done West Ham good, essentially?
Yeah.
Because if you actually think about it, mathematically, it'll be, I think, nearly 3 months between the last Premier League game we saw and the first Premier League game we'll see. That is like more than like what you get over like a summer. I know it's continuing, but this will feel like a new season to the players.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like Jose Mourinho said, Harry Kane's fully fit, Son's fully fit, Bergwijn's fully. Like all these players who had like injury problems, like even your Marcus Rashfords of the world.
Yeah, they haven't got them anymore.
Exactly, like even like your Leroy Sané's who have been out for all year, and now all of a sudden they'll come back fully fit. Like, do you think that will have much of an impact, or do you think it will just?
I think it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will, because everybody will be at their best, and it'll be fighting. It'll be fighting stuff.
Yep.
No, West Ham will be fine. I think West Ham will stay up, and they'll be at the London Stadium in the Premier League next year. And what they need to do is get themselves sorted out.
Get rid of Haller.
Well, he hasn't done well, has he?
No.
But get the shit together.
You like them? You me like David Moyes. Like is a difficult word.
Moyes all right. I think. I just think West Ham need to just get themselves some good performances.
I think that's what we need, isn't it?
Mid-table, because they're a mid-table team
that should be pushing a good team. Yes,
and they justifiably should be in the Premier League. They've got a phenomenal stadium.
Mm-hmm.
They get 60, 70,000.
If you look at the size of it, yes, yeah.
So let's get winning again. Let's get mid-table. Yeah. Let's get out of all this shit.
We finished 10th last year, man.
Yeah, well,
imagine. And this season, we at one point after I think 6 games, we were third, weren't we? And we had like the best defensive record in the league.
Yeah.
So like we clearly do have the talent. We have the players. It's just concentration, maybe. I mean, you were fine with Pellegrini, but I was done with Pellegrini for a very, 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 very long time. But I don't know. I think Moyes, if you actually look at it, Moyes hasn't actually improved West Ham since Pellegrini left. I mean, we started off with a massive win against Bournemouth, but we haven't really continued from that. So I'm not really sure. But anyway, I think we'll finish that on that, and I think I'm gonna play us out today because he is a little bit too drunk.
Jack's gonna play us
so
out.
I'll be back in 2 secs. Ah, bollocks! Oh, you love her, love her when you let her go. I'm gonna play us out today. I'm a little bit. I've had laugh. Fucking hell, man. Fucking hell. I'm gonna be playing us out today. I've had a little bit to drink. I'm a little bit rusty. This is like my 17th try at this, so please allow me. Look, if you had now is my shot. Be fair or not, this may be the only opportunity that I got. You will lose yourself in the music. The more what you own, that you better never let it go. Only get one shot now, it's your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You will lose yourself in the music. The more what you own, that you better never let it go. Only get one shot now, it's your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo. Wow. Thank you for watching another episode of the Drinker Podcast, and we'll see you next time.